Now our first moto is already complete here. We'll show you the highlights of it. Riders on the line, 30-second car to go sideways. They'll focus down on the gate and they have an uphill start, which makes the bikes go even slower, as if they're not slow enough when you're riding at a mile-high altitude. Bad news for the field. Pourcel is going to get the whole shot here. And then even worse, some of the contenders go down in the very second turn, but then pile up in the center of the screen. Jake Weimer, who we mentioned won this race last year, is down. And Justin Barsha on the right side, the number 17. He's been very fast the last couple weeks, but he's in last in this one.
It looked like Pourcel was having fun out front with his teammate Wilson taking over second right there. Wilson really looked fast. He was putting a lot of pressure on Christophe, but I don't think Christophe was really bothered by that. He just seemed to be having more fun out there than normal.
Yeah, I think he enjoyed actually a little challenge from his rookie teammate. Watch the both kind of cruising through this corner, just waiting. Who's going to get to the inside here? And Pourcel's able to maintain the lead. Same nice little scrap for a few laps. Here's Barsha trying to make things happen from deep in the pack, goes down again. And that's the kind of day he's been having so far. Much better for Pourcel, who goes on to win the first moto. He has won the first moto in all but one round this year. But only once has he been able to actually get the overall win. So we're not sure what's going to happen when we drop the gate on this second one. Here are the results. Trey Canard, solid run for third. He needed that one to build some confidence. And Tyla Rattray, another good race in fourth. Let's send it down to Aaron Mates with our progressive pre-race report.
It's the first time in Trey Canard's outdoor career that he's made it past the fourth round without being injured and on the sidelines. He said that alone is a huge accomplishment. However, he did change up his program this summer. He's hired Tim Ferry, who's a 17-year racing veteran, to give him some guidance and advice here at the track. Tim said most of the work that he does is actually throughout the week, trying to prepare him for the upcoming event. He said when he's here at the track, he does line options, takes a look, and relays those messages back to Trey. Just being here this weekend has helped him out so far. Third Moto 1, he said he's just pumped to be up back on the box.
All right, let's check out our Rocky Mountain ATV MC keys to the race, David. How smart are you?
Obviously, you need a good start.
Yeah.
I mean, that just goes without saying. Charging forward, don't worry about anything. Remember who you are. You're Trey Canard. You know how to win races. You can run at the front. He proved that to himself the first moto. If he gets another chance to do that again on this one, he can maybe pick up the overall. It's time to win.
Well, Canard third in that first moto. He would even have a shot at the overall if everything falls his way here in the second moto. Yeah, Aaron's right. In his rookie season back in 08, had a concussion in Texas, missed a couple rounds, and later on in the season broke his femur. Last year broke his arm at High Point. So he really hasn't raced many outdoor races, even though he's kind of considered a veteran of this class. It's his third pro season. And here's the guy they're chasing, Pourcel. Can he finally go 1-1? Hasn't been able to do it so far this year.
Comes down to the first 5 or 6 feet of this race. You know, you got to get a great start. He's lined up in the exact same place he was in the first moto.
Got Brock Tickle lined up next to him. Here we go. Moto 2 from Colorado.
Looked like he was a little late. Yep.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to get squeezed out. And look who's got the start. That's the keys to the race. Trey Canard said he had to get the start, and he's got it. His teammate Blake Wharton right behind him. Be careful, guys. A flashback to the Seattle Supercross. The two teammates ran into each other when they were just like this, 1 and 2. Dean Wilson squeezes into the number 3 spot. Yes, the 108's going to make it happen. And then Rattray. That was close.
That was some sketchy business back there. The big cluster of guys trying to aim for a deep rut. That's recipe for disaster. Canard jumped over that jump heading up the hill. So far he landed in one. Got a little fortunate. Rail on the outside right there, leaving the door open, but he knows he's carrying so much momentum he can hold his teammate off. It's nice to have a teammate behind him. It wasn't nice apparently in Seattle, but I think they've learned from that, and it's a lot better than looking back there and seeing Wilson or Pourcel or somebody like that.
He called the 61 of Vince Freeze. Moto Concepts Yamaha. He's up there battling with Pourcel right now in the top 5. So, at the top of the show, you said he's been hitting on black all year. Time to hit on red. And that's maybe the case in this moto as Canard and Wharton put their red bikes out front of the green.
Well, it's the first lap. It's partway through that. I got ahead of myself in Texas talking about Tomac versus Pourcel and all that, and Tomac faded to like, I don't know, 11th or something. You know, you never know. But right now it looks good, and Canard's got to be feeling like, okay, the first moto was a taste. I remember that now. I like how that tastes. I think I'm going to go back for the second helping, and this time even better with the start.
Look at Freeze. Not messing around here. He didn't care if it's Pourcel. And finally, by the way, a good start from Jake Weimer, who won this race last year. And then you saw in our highlights, it was down on the second turn of Moto 1. And this is the case with Pourcel too often in these second motos this year. He just doesn't move forward as effectively as he does in Moto 1. He's working on freeze right now, though.
It's like I was saying, though, when he asked me, what's he got to do? Is this the one he's going to get them both?
Yeah.
And both Moto wins? And I don't know. First 6 feet, he was a little late. He's going to pay for that now. I like where Rattray's sitting.
Okay.
The track is super rough today. They've left it alone. That's in his favor. A little motivated, I think, extra motivated after the first moto, not getting the start and charging, being one of the fastest guys on the track. This time, he can see Canard. He's right there in contention.
And Wilson right there as well. Wilson won the overall last week at Budds Creek by going 4-1. So second in the first moto this time. He's actually in better position than he was last time, and he's got Pourcel behind him. Interesting battle between the teammates, Rattray and Pourcel. They kind of chased each other from Europe's GP Series, now over to the AMA Series in the U.S., and they're 1 and 2 in points this year.
Yeah, I thought the challengers, the Geico Honda you guys would have something, and it's time to get something started. I thought it was going to come from Barsha, but he's having man, I don't know. Maybe he's just trying too hard. You know, he knows he can be up there, and sometimes you go through those phases, and it's just part of the process. You know, he's still young. He's got a lot of years ahead of him, but right now it's this title slipping away from him.
Behind these guys, you still got Freeze, Weimer, Tomac, Barsha is 9th, and Matt Lemoyne is 10th. And I know what you're saying about this track getting rougher. Rattray, usually don't even see him this far up in the order of their opening laps. 4th, and the track gets rougher, the day gets tougher. This guy's in shape. Expect him to be here all the way to the end.
Well, one thing that's he's probably not liking is there is a black, and I mean black, huge. It looks horrible off in the distance, but the wind seems to be blowing it the other way. But however,
wait a minute.
Pourcel.
The wind's blowing Pourcel the other way. He went from one side of the track to the other, and he takes over the lead from Rattray. So finally some spark early in the second moto from Pourcel. We haven't seen it so far this year. Jake Weimer, meanwhile, we hear things once again not going his direction. Let's check out the number 12. He is down again.
And you can tell he's just walking back over there like, come on, man. And, you know, about that black cloud, I mean, that's keeping the temperatures cooler right now. And I'm pretty sure that, you know, if Rattray had it his way, they'd all these races would be like Texas. Hot, rough, and it's not quite hot enough. But he can follow Pourcel.
Wilson makes the move around the outside of Wharton. They're going to go side by side. Wilson's on the inside. Wow. I didn't think Wharton could do that. From the outside, cover the line. He did.
Not sure he knew he could do that either, but you just do. You just go for it. When it's sometimes in the moment you do stuff, and then later you think about it, and you're like, that was pretty crazy. But that's what it takes. If you want to run up front like this, you got to take some chances and just lay it in on people.
Oh, man. Well, now we know the black cloud is over the track, just following Weimer around. So if you're in the race with him, you're going to have to deal with some bad weather.
That's a bummer.
Unbelievable. And Weimer is the West Region Light Supercross champ. Was considered a genuine title contender, maybe the favorite coming into the series. I think you can make that argument fairly well. But, boy, he is way back now, and it's going to be even worse when we calculate the points at the end of the day. How about Blake Wharton here in second? Doing a good job protecting his teammate, Trey Canard, from this monster Pro Circuit army.
Yeah, he's Trey's best friend right now. Trey's got eyes in the back of his head a little bit going, come on, Wharton, hold these guys off, man. Let me get a nice cushion.
Pourcel working on Wilson. Wilson working on Wharton. And Canard with about a 2-second lead over them all. Man, we're only 5 minutes into this moto. It's a lot of racing. And we had a spectacular second moto on this track last year in this class. And I think we are setting the stage for another great one today. We got some great racing to listen to here. Listen to bikes just being wound out, trying to find all the horsepower they can. Over 6,000 feet of elevation. Wharton and Wilson battling it out for the number 2 spot. And if Wilson, as things go his way, he could win the overall if he gets this battle in his favor. But Wharton's very stubborn.
Well, in terms of the overall, you got Wilson, you got Canard, and you got Pourcel all in there. Wharton just throwing it into that corner. The bike pops out. He just somehow gasses it and gets away with it. But, yeah, the overall is going to be fun.
And you saw Trey Canard there had just logged the fastest lap of this moto. So he's taking advantage of his teammate Wharton back there, holding off the Cowie boys. And he's pulling away to lead 3 seconds. All right, then it's Pourcel, then Rattray. Freeze has been staying up front. Just got zapped by Barsha, and now Davalos. That's Barsha's buddy. I put some air quotes around that term. Davalos trying to follow Barsha through. He's got to deal with Freeze. Freeze doing a good job staying up front. Let's see who has the line on the inside of this right-hander. Will be Vince Freeze.
That is getting so rough going in there. It's not reflected that much in the lap times. These guys are not that far off of what they were turning in the first moto, but the track is like practically twice as bad. There's a lot of effort these guys are putting in right now.
Sorry to cut you up there, but Davalos just did that too. Freeze just walked around the outside, and here comes another rider. That's the 243, I believe, at Tomac. So Barsha, Tomac, Davalos all take a position away from Freeze. And just explain what Freeze is going through. All of a sudden, he's up front, and now he's got to deal with the pace like this. Look at the speed of Wilson around the outside. He's got a long way to go to try to pull up this pass on Wharton. Still trying, and Wharton again riding the wide motorcycle. That's twice that he's been able to maintain a spot that I thought he was going to give up.
Such a good fight for this position. Pourcel just now. I don't think he should have gone to. I know he liked that berm and he was comfortable in it, but left the door just a little bit open. And Wilson is just young, loose, fast. You give him a little room, he's going to take it.
Wharton trying to come back on him. Wharton has always been tough under pressure. He just maintains the same exact riding style, same line, usually doesn't get rattled. Oh, that was a bad line there. He hit a kicker coming into that corner. Pourcel going to try to take advantage. Pourcel put off the peg. Way wide here on this straightaway. Here we go. Wharton takes a look over, puts the blinker on, puts the Honda back in front of the Kawasaki, and maintains the number 3 spot. Pourcel back to the inside again. Here we go, uphill. Who's got the line going up this jump? Looks like Pourcel. You got to give Wharton credit. He tried everything.
Yeah, he's been fighting. See those flags blowing? Wind is changing direction a little bit. That black cloud is working its way over here. So, we could be getting wet here soon.
Well, this is interesting. Now that Pourcel has made the pass, we have the exact reverse of the results of Moto 1. Pourcel is 3rd, Wilson 2nd, and Trey Canard in the lead. So Pourcel's got to do some work, or the overall win by a single point would go to Canard. The 3-1 would beat the 2-2 and the 1-3. There's
Look at the ruts. This place really can't get any worse unless that cloud comes over here and dumps. And it's looking like it's going to. And we're early in the race, just inside of 20 minutes, plus the 2 laps. Plenty of time for some water to get dumped.
All right, here's Pourcel working on Wilson, and meanwhile they are 4.6 seconds behind Trey Canard, who's having the breakthrough ride today that he has been waiting for to try to build momentum in this outdoor tour. Look at Pourcel. Where did he get that line on the inside? It's crafty. That's right. We had to say it. Okay, so Wilson and Pourcel, I think they had fun with each other in Moto 1. This is serious here in Moto 2, and that's why a rare inside movement, even a little contact from the Frenchman, but he has to do it. He's got to get serious, and he does. He's in the lead. Overall now, I believe, with that pass, because he can go 1-2. Let's see what Wilson can do. Can he get his teammate back?
So I was just talking about Rattray a little while ago going, I like where he's sitting because of the start he had, but if you're not fighting and really aggressive with that start, it doesn't matter. He just dumped out the back and dropped.
Watching action from Lakewood, Colorado's Thunder Valley Toyota Trucks National. There's another battle. Blake Wharton has been dealing with Kawasaki bikes all day long. It's like a Kawasaki dealer dealing with these bikes. And right now it's Jake Weimer for the 3rd time in this moto is down. Yeah, there's definitely a dark cloud circulating the track here, David. Wow.
I don't even have words for that. Let's just move past this. That's a bummer.
Yeah. His teammates have it all going on right now. In fact, Pourcel is closing the gap. He just put in the fastest lap of the moto. He has got Trey Canard within his sights. And also the wind has really picked up here. Is the wind a factor, or is it just the wind blowing into storm clouds? Is that going to be the problem?
Well, it'll be a big factor if it blows those rain clouds in, but you know, it messes your confidence up or concentration up just a little bit because you see flags, and it can actually, I saw in practice it blew some banners out across the racetrack. That can happen. And anytime you go up in the air off a jump, if it's a crosswind, it kind of takes the front end out away from you. So that gets a little tricky. Pourcel, man, I thought Canard was in the clear, but Pourcel is fast.
And Pourcel again wants that sweep. Great racing here in the 250 class for the guys. Trey Canard wants that breakthrough ride. He had this thing under control for the first half, but he's going to have to deal with series points leader Christophe Pourcel in the second half.
Even if Pourcel gets around him, it's still a breakthrough day for Canard. You know, he just needed to get up front and ride. He hasn't been there in a while, so it's possible he can get a little nervous, ride tight, and think a little bit about what's going on behind him, and but get past. But still, just he's heading in the right direction. He's going to do wonders for his confidence in the rest of the series.
Well, is he doing everything he was supposed to do here?
Well, obviously, the start, he's charging forward. It's time to win. The overall is, if Pourcel stays where he is gone. Pourcel will get it. But winning a moto is still a little battle that would be nice to get. And he's certainly fast enough, but you can't afford any mistake at all. It's not like Pourcel is inevitably going to get him. He's not that much faster. Canard can respond, but he's going to have to dig really deep here and be flawless.
At the game of our show, our Progressive Free Race report, Aaron Bates mentioned how Canard has missed a lot of outdoor races in his pro career with injuries. He's actually never won an outdoor moto, and that's hard to believe because he's done so well in Supercross.
That's a spot right there heading up that hill. If he goes wide and Pourcel's close enough, the next lap, Pourcel can make a pass on the inside. Going a little wide there too. He can't afford much more of that. Pourcel's too close.
And here goes Pourcel to the inside again. And Pourcel just working the edges here to try to find some smooth real estate. Now he's right on the rear wheel.
Yeah, now it is starting to look a little more inevitable. A moment ago, he seemed to be holding his gap okay, and Pourcel wasn't closing that much, but that just changed. This is I guess the sector of the racetrack where Pourcel is real strong.
Yeah, this is an area where Pourcel was able to work his way around Wilson to get into second, and now he's going to try to use that to get into the lead on Canard. But Canard able to weather that storm a little bit and at least pull out a few bike lengths. How long can he do this? Here's the battle for the lead. Toyota Trucks Thunder Valley National and Christophe Pourcel going after Trey Canard. Canard riding the widest Geico Power Sports Honda they've ever built to try to hold him off. And another lap's about to go down. And I'm just going to pause for a second. Now I can clearly say that Canard has led another lap.
Yeah, he's got to protect his insides. He's coming up to that section of the racetrack, or the portion of the racetrack, I should say, where Pourcel's got a plan. He's got some inside lines, and he lost a little time, though. Oh, nice save.
Back end kicked around there on Canard. Now, interesting, here in the altitude, tough to get the bikes jetting dialed in. Hondas are the only ones in this class that have fuel injection on their bikes. Suzuki does have a fuel-injected 250, but that's ridden by Austin Stroop, who is out injured. So I asked the mechanics over there, Trey Canard's mechanic, B, and also Schneike, the mechanic for Barsha, and they said they think they have an advantage. They won't know until the end of the day. Let's see. Pourcel's right there again.
Beautiful. See how he responded and took that inside? He also responded with a 214 to match the pace of Pourcel, who used one of those lap times to catch him. So now Pourcel's got to kind of go, let's see. Okay, he's got that line now. He's got that line, so he's got to rethink, but I'll just say it. Why not? He's crafty. He'll be able to figure out something else. He's definitely got the pressure on. Now Canard's thinking. But so far he's not having to do any blocking or any weird stuff. He's just doing what he needs to do.
Now, I've seen Canard in this position before, and sometimes it works out for him. We go all the way back to his rookie Supercross season where he got passed by Ryan Villopoto, who everyone thought was the fastest guy in the class. Canard was able to respond, pass him back, and ultimately won the championship. There have been other times where Canard trying to step up the pace has resulted in crashes or even injuries. We had this very similar scenario last year at High Point, and Canard ended up crashing over a jump and breaking his arm with Pourcel putting pressure on. So there's an upside and a downside to, getting out of your comfort zone and fighting as hard as Canard is. Right now, though, it's working in his favor.
Yep.
And you see all the tear-offs, by the way, that Pourcel's having to rip off. Every lap he's stuck behind him, taking on that roost.
Really good performance so far from Canard with all this pressure. I mean, Pourcel is the man, okay? You can feel it big time.
And that's the mechanic there for Pourcel saying we're 20 minutes in the Moto. Pourcel, speedway there almost went down.
Yeah, just inside of 10 minutes there, you can see on top. So it's, you know what I used to do when I had pressure like this? I would just try to hold the guy off for one more lap. If you think about it as 10 more minutes or 15, you know, basically because of the 2 laps additional, it's overwhelming. But if you just think about holding them off for one more lap, sometimes the guy will make a mistake and you can kind of reset, catch a breather. And if he catches you again, one more lap, break the race into smaller pieces.
Oh, Pourcel, a great line on the inside, and Canard still found a way to get back to the inside and hold him off. Now, as they work their way down in this section, yeah, that has been where Canard has been shading the outside. Got to cover it. No, he tried. Pourcel was a little bit tighter. He's in the lead.
Yeah, not over. Canard's fighting for it, but at some point, if Pourcel just really lays down a couple good laps right here, he forced Canard into going, hey, this is way better than lately. I'll just hang with this.
And look at Pourcel pull away from Canard once he made that move. And the speed is deceiving. We actually were talking to your dad here earlier after practice. He was talking about, you know, some guys have to make it work, make things work. They make mistakes. They have to minimize that damage, where Pourcel doesn't have that problem.
No.
He rides efficiently.
He's just so smart. You know, he's smart on and off the motorcycle. And he understands the flow of racing, understands the way the track develops, how to carry momentum, where to slow down just a little bit to gain a little bit. And probably better than anyone. I mean, he's proven that at least so far. And
that's Dean
Canard
Wilson
put up
in
a
third.
good fight, but that just shows you how strong Pourcel is.
And there's fourth, Rattray. And Lakewood has been in a battle every inch of this moto. And no surprise, it's Brock Tickle charging hard down the stretch. Tickle does it every single week. I don't even know where he is in the first 10 minutes of the moto. I've never seen him up front early, but late, he can count on it. Here comes 20.
That's about the fastest I've seen anyone go through that section all day. The way that Tickle came out of the corner and he didn't bounce through those. He just kept the front wheel at the tops, and it was much faster momentum. The top, let's see, we got, I was just looking at 2:15s from everybody, but they all just changed over from that lap. Everyone's running such a close pace, charging so hard. These guys in this class can't afford to take a breath. You pretty much just have to sprint the entire time or you get passed.
Can't afford to get stuck behind a lap rider either. That's what happened to Tickle. He loses a little ground. He's got Barsha right behind him. Capital of the motocross world right now. Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Brock Tickle on the number 20, duking it out with Blake Wharton. This is a battle for 5th and 6th. Tickle really pushing him, David Bailey.
That's that section where he comes out of the corner and he doesn't drop into that little swell. He wheelies from puts the front wheel at the top. It's a little faster, but that time Wharton got through there really quick as well. I thought he might make the pass, but we've seen already Wharton's fighting for every position in this race. He didn't sort of give up a little bit, like sometimes you can do when you get past a couple guys. Still fighting hard.
Dave Feeney, though, the mechanic, Tickle had to back down. Tickle almost ran into his own mechanic's pit board. And Barsha was on their rear wheels the last time they came to this section, but they've actually distanced themselves a little bit. The 17 of Barsha, 7th. Tomac next in 8th. This is turn 2. Be a left-hander and head back uphill, and Tickle's going to try to ride the rail.
And he just railed that outside with so much momentum, and it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, he's going the long way around. Oh, too wide.
Oh, look how hard you got to push. And I mean, he's not even in the top 5 right now. Look how hard he's charging. Really says a lot about the guys in the top 3. And Pourcel this time, just put down at 2:13.
Tickle did everything he could to get to the inside of that left-hander where Pourcel had passed Canard. Still couldn't make it happen. Here we go again. One line in that corner, and Wharton beats Tickle to it. And the battle continues, and now we see Barsha beginning to close up again. So we got a 3-rider fight. Barsha waiting for a mistake out of these two.
Really don't want to look back.
There's that mistake.
But when it's Barsha, it's kind of nice to know about where he is, because he will run you over if he's motivated.
And he makes a huge mistake.
The track's just difficult right now. When you're looking at the best riders in the world messing up like that, it's not because they're just messing up and off their game. The track is bringing out the worst in them. It's really difficult right now. I think they're in a big hurry. Oh, speaking of bringing out the worst, jeez. You might as well pull in. He's out of the points. Just save yourself at this point.
I don't even. We're out of words there for one. So he's going to move forward again. Here's Christophe Pourcel. We'll go to a progressive hole shot replay, and that was a key to the race for Pourcel to get a good start, but he didn't actually. He had to overcome that progressive hole shot replay of the start. Pourcel got squeezed out.
Yeah, he was a little late. And, came into the corner. He was pretty even with everybody. He was on the outside. Canard controlling the inside of the first corner. It looked like he was going to lose it, but that's why he hanging that leg out there. If he wasn't able to put his foot out right there, he just would have tipped over. Pourcel, you know, I've seen him walk away with wins, but I haven't seen him really fight through the pack and win like this. This is, I mean, I know he can. I'm sure that he has. I can't think of one offhand, but this was an impressive ride to the front. Because Canard was moving, he was motivated, and carrying some confidence from the first moto.
Canard's actually been working with Tim Ferry last couple of weeks since Texas. Ferry's been coming to races, not yet in an official capacity, but just kind of hanging out with Trey and passing on many, many years of racing experience. Paying off today. Great ride by Trey in second. And that might be enough to give him second overall, because the guy that beat him in the first moto by a position is behind him in a position in this one. That's Dean Wilson. Still, what a solid season for Wilson. He has really not had a bad moto yet. And we're 10 motos into this tour.
Well, when you're young, it's just all new and fun, and I think he's just enjoying himself and loose. He's not really pressured. He doesn't really expect to do. He doesn't have any expectations. He's just enjoying racing motocross right now. And when you're in a different position and you feel like, man, I need some results, the team's counting on me, I'm capable, I need to deliver. Sometimes when you have that mindset, you try a little bit too hard, like kind of what's happening to Weimer this time. Being a Supercross champion this year and coming into the outdoors, winning that shootout in Vegas, he probably thought, okay, man, I'm just going to keep the ball rolling, and it's flat. It's not rolling.
Here is Rattray, started in fourth, staying in fourth. Rare from him. Usually gets stronger as the race goes on, but he was not able to keep pace. And I think that's as much of a byproduct of what you said earlier. Maybe a little bit more determined Christophe Pourcel. He wasn't hanging out racing with his teammates for fun this time. He was pushing them out of the way and going to the front, and he left those guys, Wilson and Rattray, behind. Still a good solid run for Rattray. He's trying to score consistent points every weekend. If Pourcel were to have a major problem, he could be the guy to take advantage. Wilson is right there in the series as well. But they're going to need Pourcel to get some points back. He's going to score maximum today and extend that points lead even further. I'd say it's the best run of the year for the Frenchman, who continues to yard the field here in Colorado. Christophe Pourcel on fire today. He was the favorite coming into this tour, and now we see why, David.
Well, besides his riding is amazing. You know, yeah, he had to fight for this and use a lot of energy, but the temperature is cooler. I think that's helping him out quite a bit. Jeff Emmick's sitting back here behind us going, you know, I think these temperatures are helping him out, and I agree 100%.
Let's talk to some of the other riders in this class about racing against Christophe Pourcel. Well said there by Blake Wharton. They've got to learn their lessons this year, because Pourcel will move up to the 450 class next year. So it'll be wide open. So whoever can gain the most learning from this guy now could pay off for the championship in 2011.
That actually says a lot, what Wharton just said right there, because, and I agree, Pourcel has his ability and his deep bag of tricks has elevated this entire class. You know, like Jeremy did with Supercross. And these guys are going to be glad to see him move on to a different size bike.
And speaking of moving on, Pourcel was in fourth, then third, then second. We'll show you the Geico replay of how he was able to move up into first.
Well, watch how he jumps way out to the right side of the racetrack, his right, and uses that bank to kind of swoop back down to the inside. And then just to make sure, he's like, forget the berm, I need to keep going straight. Make sure I get an elbow in front of Canard. And, you know, that wasn't dirty, that he just needed to do that to make sure that pass stuck.
Now, Pourcel will be a free agent for next season. One of the only 450 riders that's locked up is the guy who's leading this series on the big bikes, Ryan Dungey. Almost everyone else is a free agent. And many people think that this guy could be the hottest property of all because he has proven that he can run with Dungey. They battled tooth and nail all last year, and saying you can beat Ryan Dungey is a heck of a bullet on the resume.
Yeah, he's whoever signs him, I mean, they're going to really have to pay up. He deserves it. And, you know, you can say, well, you know, maybe his personality isn't this or that. But I think that's coming around, and people are starting to go, you know, actually he's kind of cool, and shoot, man, if you can't beat him, join him. You know, he's just the complete package right now, and even in the personality that's coming around, starting to be a little bit more understood.
Got a little rain coming down here. I don't think that's going to slow him too much. Talk about Pourcel's style and how that might translate over to a 450 next year.
Well, when you're smooth like that, sometimes on a 250, you need a little bit more intensity, but he's proven that he knows how to get around the racetrack fast with that sort of calm, cool and collected and real methodical style. And on a bigger bike, I would think that that's just going to be even more of a plus because he'll have that extra power to bail out of times where he decides to check up a little bit and miss a bumper, you know, here and there. And I think that he's going to make that transition really well and be a threat indoors and out right away.
He actually wanted to switch to a 450 this year, but had some unfinished business since he came up short to Dungey by just a few points in this championship in 09. He came back here with the goal of defending his Supercross title, check that, did it, and winning this outdoor title. And the points lead he has right now, it's certainly in the cards. But I go back 20 years ago when another Frenchman, Jean-Michel Bale, had a gigantic lead in what this class used to be called the 125 class. And then at Washougal, Washington, one quick crash, broke his arm and was done. So in this sport, things can change in a hurry, and no one is more aware of that actually than Pourcel himself.
And then Bale came back and won every championship,
yes,
and then just went home. We're like, wait, you're not going to back that up? He's, I don't need to. And then he went and got on the pole position in MotoGP, which is like practically impossible. And if it wasn't for some vertigo weird stuff he had going, then he'd probably be winning that as well. So, and also, I mean, I know that Pourcel doesn't really like to be, you know, compared to Bale all the time, but it's hard not to. They're both very intelligent. They're both very versatile. They're really good at other things off the motorcycle, balance-wise, and it's just a pleasure to watch. You know, I mean, at times it seems a little boring, but you know, if you look a little closer to the way he does things, the choices he makes on where to ride, his style, how easy he makes it look, it makes you want to get a bike and go riding.
All right, he's only about a half a lap away from his first 1-1 moto sweep of the season. And as you mentioned, maybe the cooler temperatures were a factor in that, even some rain coming down. Last week, he won the first moto at Budds Creek, and it was oppressive with the heat and humidity, and he just didn't have the strength in Moto 2 to follow up. No such trouble here in the altitude this time. Christophe Pourcel dominates here in Colorado.
Physically, he was right there in the hunt to win the hottest race, and then he got the overall. Right? Rattray, I thought he won it. He just won the second moto. So he's won the hottest race, and he won the race at altitude. So I think he's erased any physical questions.
We'll be back to talk to him next.